Seong never thought his entire life would get drop-kicked into oblivion in a single moment. One second, he's just another low-profile middle school kid, the kind you could push around without breaking a sweat. The next, he's clinging to life like a cheap phone charger at 1%. Ambulance sirens screaming as they rush him to the ER, after a pack of human trash decided to gang up and nearly beat him to death. Nobody knew his name, news outlets acted like he didn't exist. The rich, spoiled brats who did it, their families buried the whole thing faster than a cat hiding its own crap. While Seong was stuck in a 9-month coma, his family was left swinging against an unbeatable monster, the system itself. His dad told the hush money to fuck off, refused every backroom deal, and kept fighting even when the odds were zero. Until he snapped. In one last brutal protest, Seong's father lit himself on fire right in the middle of the street. Mom was there, screaming her lungs out for justice in a world that gave exactly zero shits. Someone filmed it. Boom, 72 million views later, the internet went nuclear. Only then did the government and their cronies pretend to care. Cue the arrests, firings, fake-ass apologies, and blood money payouts. But yeah, all of it came way too late. When Seong finally woke up, reality hit him harder than that beating ever did. He de-slept through his parents suffering their deaths and the chaos they started in his name. Guilt crushed him, rage burned a hole in his soul, and something inside just snapped. Everyone figured he'd never bounce back, joke S on them. 2 years later, Seong's holed up in a locked rooftop apartment, bought with the so-called compensation. He's a ghost landlord, barely talks, never smiles, lives like an urban legend. And if you're still watching this without skipping, you're either waiting for Seong's glow-up or you just like seeing people's lives get wrecked. Either way, hit that like button, drop your spiciest roast in the comments, and help us hit 1,000 subs so you can join the Bald Gang, where we roast harder than life roasted this guy. But behind that dead-eyed poker face is a guy playing detective, piecing together every name, every thread connecting corporate kings, politicians, and the predators they protected. He watches the upper crust waltz around like nothing ever happened. Same elite surnames sitting in CEO chairs, running for president, controlling the media, and raising the same spoiled brats who skated away from justice. And the worst part, he can't touch them, not yet. Until out of nowhere, this insane beam of light comes slicing down from space like the universe just hit Earth with a god-tier anime attack. It slams straight into his building's rooftop at light speed, making him yeet himself out of bed in pure panic. Heart-pounding, brain screaming, what the fuck just happened? He figures maybe it's a break-in, because sure, that's logical after a space laser. But as he goes to check, an icy, shadowy presence starts wrapping itself around him like some horror movie jump scare with commitment issues. And his heart's hammering so loud it could headline a rock concert. His hands all sweaty and twitchy, like he just rage quit a ranked match. But screw it, he decides he's checking this out. He throws the door open and boom, instant flashbang to the face. When his vision finally stops screaming, his eyes go full cartoon pop-out. Because yeah, there's a gigantic flaming sword just chilling, impaled in his rooftop terrace. In broad daylight, no less. And guess what? This was definitely not penciled into Seong's Google Calendar today. He's standing there looking like he's buffering in real life. Because honestly, how often does an oversized anime prop crash into your house? His brain is on overdrive, trying to figure out who the hell has the cosmic flex to pull this stunt, and why. Judging from the sweat pouring down his face, he's one jump scare away from fainting, but he forces himself to snap out of it. Finally, he decides, yeah, time to get a closer look at this absurdity. The sword itself looks way too familiar, like something ripped straight out of an MMO boss drop. He scratches his head, realizing it's a massive two-handed greatsword, a legit Zweihander, big enough to match his height when stabbed into the ground. After a few seconds of staring, Seong tells himself he's not about to let this thing hijack his brain completely. Nope, he's not letting this freak show mess him up any worse than it already has. Then he actually considers doing the smart thing, turning off the curiosity switch and just pretending none of this is happening. Sword from hell or not, he strolls back inside like, yeah, whatever, not my problem. Back in his apartment, this deadbeat zombie version of Seong's brain wonders if Excalibur just picked his roof for its epic respawn. He flops back onto his bed, fully committing to the I don't give a damn lifestyle. Within minutes, he's snoring hard, leaving the massive sword alone, completely unaware it's now twitching like it's about to log into a boss raid. But nope, our boy is dead to the world. Until the commotion outside drags him straight out of dreamland. His eyes are all glazed over, panic setting in like he's trapped in some horror DLC. And somehow, there's now an army of high-res fantasy warriors slamming their spears on the ground like they're rehearsing for a TikTok challenge. Oh, and guess who's standing dead center in their marching path? Yep, Seong, probably one shiver away from pissing himself. Then his face drains white, because behind them there's a whole freaking monster army headed his way. Leading the charge, a hero in a red cape, swinging the same sword that turned his rooftop into a crash site. while Seong's still trying to figure out if his brain just rage-quit reality. A tidal wave of raw energy explodes out of the hero like a Final Fantasy limit break, sending Seong flying like yesterday's trash. He has zero clue how he even got here, and that blast of wind feels like it's trying to peel his skin off. Gasping for air, he looks up and sees a nightmare mountain of monster corpses piled high, the Zweihander stabbed right on top. The sight shocks him so bad it yanks him straight out of his dream state, and he bolts upright in bed, sweating and confused. He sits there for a few minutes trying to process that fever dream. Then bam, strange noises outside snap him out of it. He gets up still dazed, wondering if this is actually real now. Deciding to find out, he steels himself and heads to the door. Yanks it open only for his jaw to hit the floor. He's instantly sweating buckets, eyes bugging out like a Looney Tunes character. That massive sword, yeah, it's now engulfed in fire. He's refusing to accept that this is actually happening, but nope. His terrace is basically a barbecue pit now, and with the flames turning his rooftop into a personal lava field. He panics hard and bolts back inside at full speed. No hesitation, he makes a straight line for the bathroom. There, he starts filling a bucket with water like it's his one shot at saving the planet. But our curly-headed genius forgot one thing. His scrawny arms can't lift that much water without breaking. His body's shaking. He's gritting his teeth, trying to go full shonen power-up, but nope, water's splashing everywhere. Half of it's already gone, but he somehow musters the strength to lift the bucket and charges outside like a man possessed. In a blink, he dumps the whole thing over the sword, and nothing. Zero effect, not even a steam puff. He's beyond frustrated, lets out this primal scream, then sprints back inside like he's being chased. From there, it's rinse and repeat. He keeps hauling water buckets, dumping them on the flames until he's wheezing and shaking like a cold chihuahua. Finally, the rooftop is drowned in fog, the fire completely gone. Seong just slumps there, mentally kicking himself for not staying in bed. Sweat's dripping off him like a busted faucet. He finally forces himself to stand, only for his entire body to scream in pure agony. And then boom, Seong notices some damn water pipes tucked away in the corner. Cue the facepalm of the century, he could have used those the whole time. Now he's pissed enough to throw hands with himself. Midnight rolls around again, and like clockwork the banging starts up. This time louder than an upstairs neighbor with a bowling hobby, yanking him out of sleep. He stretches, zombie walks to the door, cracks it open cautiously, and yep, flaming sword S still there. After 4 nights, it's practically his roommate. Deciding to do his usual firefighting routine, he twists the pipe valve, sending a clean, focused jet of water straight at the sword. He soaks it, same as always, but still can't figure out where that drumbeat is coming from. Definitely sounds like drums, but the source, total mystery. And the fire, yeah, it just shows up like it owns the place, no warning. Seong can't stop staring at the thing like it's hypnotizing him. Later that night, the clock hits 12 again. Even in his sleep, he hears the banging like some cursed Spotify loop. It ramps up, pounding in his skull like a free trial of Hell's playlist, always right on schedule. Sleep destroyed, he jolts upright, furious, ready to lose it. He's stalking around like a hungry predator, brain short-circuiting from this nightly splash and burn routine. And then, yup, midnight again. His room's a landfill of trash bags, the clock ticking like it's mocking him. Staring at the sword, he has no clue what the hell to do with it, so he just sits there deadpan waiting for the midnight fireworks. Clock strikes 12 right on cue, the sword shivers like it's glitching. Seong leans in, this is when the real show starts. The ground cracks where the blade's embedded, fire starting to leak out seconds later. Flames blast upward, but he's ready with the water again. Finally, a chance to get some payback. He storms back inside, hammering his keyboard like a hacker in a bad Netflix drama. After digging deep, he finds something and his eyes go wide. No hesitation, he heads back out to confront the sword, grabbing a giant red ribbon tied above it. The banging echoes through the air, but Seong doesn't even blink. Armed with a cross and holy water, he steps up like he's about to 1v1 the devil. Time for an exorcism. He mutters a few words, sprays the blade, the trembling stops. For half a second he thinks he's actually won. Then FOOM, flames erupt from the ground, nearly making him jump out of his own skin. He's yelling now, calling on God to nuke whatever demon's squatting in that sword, and telling Satan to get the hell out, no refund. Hours crawl by and morning finally comes. Seong's still alive, but it's a miracle. He keeps muttering his prayers, though his voice is barely hanging on. He keeps spraying holy water, driving himself into total exhaustion. This all-night battle has sucked him dry. Trying to make sense of the nonsense, he clutches his head, panting hard, then notices the flames chill out in daylight. They just die on their own once the sun's up. Moments ago it was an inferno. But now, under the blazing sun, it's nothing. Seong's cooked body, mind, and spirit, like he's been put through a 24-hour survival challenge. Still, he knows damn well the flames will be back at midnight, and the cursed cycle will start all over again. But this guy's patience has hit rock bottom, and he's dead set on putting an end to this nonsense. So without dragging it out any longer, he announces that today is the day he'll finish this once and for all. Reaching into his toolbox, he pulls out a solid hammer, gripping it like a lifeline, ready to smash away his frustration. After sizing it up, a sinister grin creeps onto his face. He inhales deeply, then bursts forward at full tilt toward the sword, radiating pure bad energy. Seung lets out a vicious swing, pouring every ounce of strength into the hit, but instead of a brutal smash, the hammer's head snaps clean off the handle, blasting a hole straight into the wall behind him. Standing there with just the wooden stick, he stares at it blankly, looking like a confused caveman. Sweat dripping, Seung clenches his jaw in frustration, clearly reaching his breaking point. Without missing a step, the guy darts inside, probably scheming up a fresh plan to deal with this cursed hunk of metal. Moments later, Seung storms back out, swinging like he's packing serious reinforcements. Turns out he's brandishing a massive bat. Now Seung's ready for round 2. His eyes lock in with fierce determination. This might just work. With the bat clamped tight in his grip, he charges at the sword like a man possessed. He seizes the moment, swinging hard for a decisive blow. But instead, the force ricochets back at him with equal power. The rebound smacks him square in the face, knocking him off balance as the bat goes spinning away. And he lets out a scream sharp enough to curdle blood. It hurts like hell. Even so, the guy's not about to throw in the towel. Shooting back up, he locks eyes with the cursed blade. To him, this is personal now. If the sword wants a fight, it's getting one. He's going all in. Without hesitation, Seung seizes the sword's hilt with both hands. The curly-haired guy keeps running his mouth, until a loud crack cuts him off. Flames flare out from the blade's fissures again, catching him completely off guard, with zero clue how a simple touch could ignite it again. Especially when it's not even close to midnight, he's rattled. Then his eyes nearly pop out of his skull. Out of thin air, a blazing fireball flares to life right in front of him, nearly scaring him to death. The searing orb hovers in place as Seung grips the sword tight. Within seconds, it dives at him like a meteor of molten light. Its one goal: burn him to a crisp, no negotiations. Every inch of him is blasted by the scorching blaze, searing into his nerves like living flame. His skin tingles, vision warps, and for a split second it feels like he's being swallowed whole, maybe even belching fire. Suddenly, a flood of the sword's bloody history crashes into his mind. Every body it cut, every wound it made. The faces of its victims and the echo of each clash swirl together into a mental storm. The pounding in his skull feels like it'll split him open, each memory dragging him through laughter and grief alike. From moments of foolish fun to the ache of loss, it all hits at once. Then the flames abruptly shift into dark smoke, and Seung finally wrenches the blade free. His body gives out, dropping him to the ground in utter exhaustion. But in the end, he survived the trial, and earned himself a massive sword after enduring a beam that tore through every cell in him. Dawn breaks and the neighbors are already chattering about the chaos on the rooftop that just won't quit. One asks if anyone's figured out what's up with rooftop units. Lately, the past few nights have been a circus of screams. Most of them have had more than enough of the racket from the 3rd floor. One woman gripes about the endless pounding, claiming it could drive anyone mad. Oddly, her husband seems a little too curious, especially since no one's ever laid eyes on the landlord. In the 2 years they've lived there, the 5th floor crowd hasn't had a single face-to-face encounter with them. And honestly, no one even knows what kind of person lives upstairs. Man, woman, or what age they might be. Fed up, one of the 5th floor ladies has already rung the manager this morning, demanding answers about this whole mess. So this chatty gossip queen spills every juicy detail about the rooftop chaos, hyping it like some underground club banging all night. She even wonders aloud if cops need to crash this party. But now the manager shuts her down like a pro. No police drama today. His calm-ass reply basically telling her to zip it. Screams or not, that's all the proof anyone needs that the landlord's alive and kicking. His crew's desperate to keep the rooftop shitshow on the down low. Meanwhile, Seung's stuck up there on the rooftop, snapped back to reality by a scream sharp enough to peel paint off walls. After getting forced to swallow that hellfire-sized fireball, the dude straight up conks out, still clutching that cursed sword like it's his last lifeline. When he finally wakes, he's completely spaced out, no clue what just happened. Swears the whole thing might have been some fever dream. One hell of a dream, though, like the kind that sticks in your brain like a tattoo you didn't ask for. Clutching his battered chest, Seung's hit by a goddamn emotional hurricane all at once. Despair, joy, sadness, awe, rage, guilt, and hate, like a blender of feelings stabbing straight through his heart. Felt like he lived 1,000 lifetimes packed into one breath. Yeah, intense AF. Once the storm clears, he snaps right back to the here and now. But damn, that grip on the sword keeps him frozen, like he's got some psychic leash hooked on him. He doesn't even remember yanking it out so damn fast. And get this, the marks from the sword being stuck in the rooftop, poof, gone, sending icy chills down his spine. Plus, he's pretty sure this blade's gotta be at least a meter long after pulling it free. Staring it down, he half expects this beast of a sword to have ripped right through the floors like a wrecking ball. With barely enough strength to hoist this giant chunk of metal, Seong's no quitter. So somehow, he manages to lift it for a few damn seconds, before losing balance and nearly eating dirt. This time though, the sword crashes right on top of him, nearly making his soul tap out and bounce. Moments later, he pushes it off like a champ and sets it aside, damn near drained from the effort. Just a touch brings back flashes. This blade's called the battling sword of the Pilgrim of Thunder and Storm. Fancy, huh? Even though he knows it's more like a knockoff than a real name, he still hasn't cracked the mystery behind it. Lately, he's been clueless about pretty much everything happening to him. But one thing's crystal clear, his guts and grit aren't budging. No matter the hell thrown at him, his fire to break free just keeps blazing hotter. Without wasting time, Seong grabs hold of the sword again, channeling every last memory of the battles it's been through. And suddenly, his fingers actually get a grip on this beast. With a savage swing, he hoists the sword off the ground like a maniac. Just as he's gearing up for another hit, the sword's sheer weight sends electric shocks ripping through his body. Something snaps inside. He crashes headfirst to the floor, screaming in pure agony. Then blacks out cold. When he finally comes to, there's that crazy woman he's gotta call back. No way out this time. At some lunch meetups, Missy's having a blast, until her phone buzzes like a damn alarm. The second she sees the caller ID, her grin vanishes. She knows this is no joke. Excusing herself to the coffee area, Seong's desperate cries hit every nerve in her body. She jumps up, muttering a quick sorry, and ditches her date with Yuquin without missing a beat. She bolts out like a bat out of hell, completely ignoring Yuquin calling Bora behind her back. When she arrives, Bora's already pissed, thinking this better be a damn good reason to bail on a date like that. She wastes no time demanding what the hell's going on with this walking zombie mess. With her hawk eyes locked on him, Bora spots the bandaged hand, looks like it's been broken or something. Without even pausing for breath, this woman corners him into coughing up the truth. Meanwhile, Seong's sitting there looking like someone just asked him to confess his deepest sins. She goes straight for the kill. How the hell did he manage to sprain both wrists? That question hits him like a jump scare, and now the poor guy is scrambling for an alibi. But she's not letting go, she wants answers now. Backed into a corner, he blurts out the lamest cover story possible. Apparently, he hurt himself working out. Yeah, sure, buddy. Just the mental image of this guy doing exercise is enough to break her. She straight up bursts into laughter, because we're talking about the same hermit who hasn't touched sunlight for 2 whole years. Her brain's still buffering. With a smug grin plastered on her face, she can barely wrap her head around it. This guy working out so hard he ended up like this. Absolute comedy. Her theory, either he went psycho on an elliptical for 2 hours straight or pulled off 100 bicep curls like he was auditioning for a Rocky reboot. Either way, she's not buying it, and that creepy, unblinking stare isn't helping. Then BZZZT, a message notification slices through the moment. Turns out Seong's phone is ringing, and this man has 0 stamina left to even pick it up. Bora takes the reins, spotting the caller ID, Happy Realtors. Seong's soul dies a little as she reaches for the answer button. Now he's pissed because nothing good ever comes from this. Bora double checks, yep, it's Seong's number. When she picks up, she smoothly introduces herself as a nurse from Achwin University Hospital. Name's Kim Bora, in charge of Seong's regular checkups. Honestly, this whole Happy Realtors call seems to annoy her. But then she freezes. There's a faint scream in the background that flips her expression into full "what the fuck was that" mode. The caller asks if Seong's okay. Seong stiffens, subtly shaking his head like, for the love of God, don't snitch. She assures them he's totally fine physically and mentally, biggest lie of the day. Then she goes full Karen, ranting about how bad he is at answering calls, and how she's had to set a rule for him to at least text back if it's business related. She wraps it up by telling him to act healthy, otherwise the realtors will smell something's off. Meanwhile, Seong's struggling just to sit upright, but he fights through the pain like it's a shonen training arc, ready to attend this oh-so-important realtor call. After he does the roll call, Bora steps in and smooths things over. Once she's done, she just stares, clearly wondering what planet this guy is from. She casually drops the bomb that the neighbors are pissed about his screaming. It's been ruining their sleep for days. But Seong's not spilling anything, though he knows she's not gonna let this go. Finally, he admits he's been feeling so wound up that it's like his heart's ready to explode into party confetti. Bora's tempted to smack some sense into him, but she lets it slide. She switches into nurse mode and starts feeding him. Trying to look tough, Seong insists he's fine, just planning to rest. Before leaving, Bora goes full mom mode, dumping a laundry list of instructions about caring for his wrists and applying warm compresses. She even schedules checkups on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 2 weeks. Before he can object, she's already out the door. He grits his teeth, radiating pure annoyance. And then the familiar banging sound kicks in, dragging him toward the cursed sword hiding under his bed. He pulls it out, ready for whatever nonsense it's about to throw at him. Through the pain, an eerie voice declares that real learning only comes through failure. Even though there's no one else in the room, the voice keeps hammering away, insisting pain is the best teacher no matter how old you are. This is basically a bootleg military boot camp for strength. The voice lays it out: grab the sword, run until you drop, swing until you break. And that's pretty much the whole lesson: just run, swing, suffer, repeat. The dude has no idea what half the terms even mean. Leaving the sword on the bed, Seong just slides to the floor, completely fried. He's at his limit, wondering why the hell he's even doing this. What's the point of getting stronger if it just wrecks him like this? But instead of quitting, he hops on his keyboard and starts hammering away like a man possessed, diving into deep research on this Vinder thing, determined to figure out every detail. Out of everything he finds, he settles on a Korean guy's 4-month two-handed sword training video. Now it's all or nothing, thanks to this weird chain of events. Seong's focus is laser sharp. Eyes locked on the blade, not even blinking. This man is dialed in like a sniper. He's studying how to slice enemies clean with the tiniest movement. Watching that, Seong can't help but wonder, could he actually pull that off himself, or is he just LARPing? He grabs his own leg in a death grip, which isn't exactly easy when his body feels like it's been swapped with a concrete statue. But that creepy voice's orders keep replaying in his head like a cursed tick-tock sound. His brain's running wild, trying to make sense of the madness. Then Bora drops by for a checkup, and guess what? His injuries have healed way ahead of the 3-week schedule. She immediately jumps to the obvious conclusion: dude's juicing. But Seong's not here for this interrogation. She warns him to chill out and stop doing shady crap before she ends up catching heat for it. He waves her off like it's nothing, which of course makes her absolutely lose it. She slams the door so hard the hinges probably filed a complaint. Alone again, Seong mentally confirms, yep, nurse says wrist injury equals 3 months to fully heal. Then out of nowhere, a sinister whisper cuts through the room, calling anyone who leaves their sword untouched a straight-up fool. Seong realizes the voice is leaking from his own memories, which isn't creepy at all. Outside, he tightens his grip and swings the sword with all his strength. Too bad this massive two-handed monster isn't exactly a beginner's toy, especially for a noodle-armed hermit like him. So he decides to work on stamina and strength first. The voice's tutorial says he needs to run outside to even get the basics of swordsmanship down. But just thinking about going outside makes him twitch. He hasn't set foot beyond the upper floors or talked to another human in 2 years. Naturally, he chickens out and puts the running plan on pause. Then he remembers there was a guy his age who could wield this exact sword at 12 years old. He'd run an hour straight, eat, then run again. Childhood overachievers are the worst. Feeling crushed by that thought, Seong straps the giant blade to his back and goes for push-ups instead. Considering his 0 workout streak, plus the fact that the sword weighs a ton, he figures he might pull off 10. Reality check: after 1 try, he's sweating like he's in a sauna and staring death in the face. He lowers the goal to 1 push-up. Even then, the sword drags him face first into the floor like a bully. This whole thing is driving him insane. Finally, he throws in the towel for now. Time for some emergency cup noodles to recharge. Once the sun dips and people clear out, Seong heads outside, sword still strapped to his back, ready for round 2. He exhales a long sigh, straps the sword tighter and swears he's gonna make this run count. He reaches the stairwell, but then chickens out again, opting to run stairs instead of risking awkward eye contact with strangers. Each step is a silent tap, but his whole body's shaking like it's begging him to crawl back into bed. Even with the chills running down his spine, he keeps chanting he'll run until he drops, not backing down, not yet. But after just 1 floor, he's a mess, mind scrambled, body quitting. Guy S practically losing his sanity. Then clang, the sword's tip smacks the stairwell. Seong trips hard, tumbling like a human bowling ball. He lands with brutal force after a few involuntary backflips, face first, again. The mystery voice just tells him he's got a long way to go, so pick up the sword, nearly in tears. He still grits his teeth and refuses to quit, cost be damned. Dripping with sweat, his face is a mix of fear and misery. He's trying to play it cool while going down the stairs, but inside he's screaming. Every few steps, he grabs the railing, trying to process what's happening. Panting like a dying dog, he never thought it'd get this brutal. But here he is, suffering like never before, then heading back up at the same pace. Finally, he makes it to the roof after 4 grueling laps and just stands there, gasping like a fish out of water. Out of nowhere, creepy shadow flickers from his past slam into his brain like some messed up horror trailer. His whole body locks up as the reel keeps rolling, drowning him in pure terror. Dude's one panic attack away from passing out. But deep inside, those fiery embers of rage are still alive and kicking. That's enough to drag him out of his little coward mode bubble. And suddenly he's itching for another round. He straps the sword back on, striding out like he's got something to prove. Meanwhile, the third-floor granny nearly dies of shock seeing a mountain of trash bags swallowing the ground. Fast forward, Seong's phone starts ringing while he's in the middle of a nap, still clutching his sword like it's a body pillow. A few moments later, boom, wake-up call. His stomach growls so loud it could startle a wild animal. Forget alarms, that's the real MVP. He heads to the kitchen and whips up a meal that actually looks halfway legit. But no matter how much he shovels down, dude, S been starving 24/7 lately. With one hand squeezing a gripper for gains, he tosses his dirty dishes in the sink, polishes off the last bite, and bolts straight for the rooftop. There he bangs out 100 push-ups, this time without getting his skull flattened. Progress. After that, he just lies there on the grass, arms spread like he's the hero of some shounen victory scene. Then out of nowhere, the mysterious voice drops a pro tip. Apparently short breaks make you level up way faster. Guess he's gotta find his zen in the middle of all this chaos. Later, Seong sprints downstairs at max speed, going feral on his stairwell laps. The man's footsteps sound like he's trying to stomp a hole through reality. After cranking out 8 laps, he's already plotting the next challenge. Without hesitation, he grips the V-hander tight. The voice chimes in 100 swings, that's baby mode. The real pain is going slow enough to bore yourself to death. Oh, and no tip wavering, rules are rules. Then that voice gets all cryptic again, asking what his real goal is. No stuttering, no hesitation, he says vengeance. His whole house was torched from the inside out, but the voice isn't done grilling him. It wants to know why he'd go this far. Eyes locked on his PC screen, Seong watches hell itself unfold in front of him. The entire town gone, just ashes, corpses, and flames. People screaming as they burn alive, and he can't do a damn thing about it. Their voices are trapped in the past, but the pain in his chest is very, very now. On screen, a man crumples to his knees, holding his lover close, drowning in despair. That's it, Seong's emotional dam bursts. He gets it. He really freaking gets it. Lost in the emotional wreckage, he finally nails down the truth. It's all about revenge. The realization slams into him like a truck kun moment. Suddenly, everything's in focus, even with tears still leaking down his face. He wipes them away, shaking off the sadness like it's a bad filter. His heart's still heavy, but his brain razor sharp. And now there's zero doubt about his next move. His path is locked in, no turning back this time. Meanwhile, Bora's out here creeping on the rooftop like some budget private eye. She scrolls through her phone until one message reminds her she's supposed to be at Seong's place in an hour. She smirks, thinking she's got the perfect surprise. Seong has no clue she's already right outside. But plot twist, Seong flings the door open first. Boom, busted. She's frozen mid-snoop while he looks like death warmed over and tells her to act her damn age and stop playing Creep Simulator. She stomps her foot like a cartoon villain, pouting like she's 12. He just sighs like a man who's completely done with this day, turns around, and lets her check his blood pressure, 175/100, before she moves on to inspecting his arms. He admits it, yeah, it's a little sore, big surprise. But Bora, she's done. She's hit her max tolerance for this guy's zombie-level energy. She lays it out. Seong needs to wake the hell up and face reality because the days of lying to people are over. Times have changed, buddy. After a long, awkward pause, she keeps pressing, asking how his hands, feet, and back are doing. And shocker, his answer's still a little sore. Yup, same dead-eyed delivery. At this point, he could be an NPC stuck on repeat. Bora's seconds away from verbally drop-kicking him, but she reins it in and just announces that Seong's luck has officially run out. He has no clue what she's on about, but she's grinning like a cat with a secret. Then she drops the bomb. The doctor already signed off on his full recovery. That one actually wipes the smug off his face. So he fires back, asking if this means her freeloading rooftop detective days are over. She shrugs but declares that his shut-in arc is done. Keep this up and he'll be the 17-year-old weirdo starting 8th grade with a class full of kids. That's it. Seong's nose-to-nose with her now, practically steaming. He snarls that he's not going to school like ever. End of discussion. That catches Bora completely off guard, and she stares at him like her brain just blue-screened. Then her jaw drops even lower. Wait, when the hell did this guy get so tall? She jumps up to measure him with her eyes. This was the scrawny shrimp who barely hit 160 cm, and now he's towering past her 168 cm. She tells him to stand still while she does a full once-over. And sure enough, Seong's been working out like a man possessed. Sure, kids grow fast, but she can't resist grabbing his chest and declares he's a straight-up beefcake now. Later during training, that cryptic mystery voice comes back, saying only those obsessed with strength will touch true power. Fools waste time fighting over ranks and titles, when in reality there's only one, no second sky, no second sun. A singular force above all. Then it goes full dramatic mode. Speaking of the vow of indomitability, the blessing of the sword, and the essence of conviction. To claim these, he must run himself into the ground and swing that monster blade 10,000 times without rest. Only then will he own that power. The words burn into his brain like a branding iron. Compared to the beast in his memories, he's barely scratching the surface. Meaning it's grind time, way harder, way longer. Fast forward 1 year and the country's rattled by a big announcement. Jang Sung-chul, now the 21st president, says he's not here for empty promises or BS excuses. And that love for the nation beats selfishness. His crew's hyped, screaming that their boss finally pulled it off. Calls start rolling and Chairman Lee from Shinjin Corp dials up, congratulating him and promising to gather the family. Translation: the kids have suffered enough overseas. Meanwhile, Seong's watching Sung-chul's hope-filled speech and looking like he's about to puke. And honestly, Sung-chul hates to admit it. But yeah, the kids have been through hell. Now this big shot is saying he hasn't seen his precious Soo-jun in forever. He schedules a reunion ASAP, all giddy about her return. Claims that after everything she's endured, she must be all grown up now. His secretary chimes in, acknowledging the hardship. But Sung-chul's just smiling like he's watching a happy ending, because according to him, parents' success is thanks to the kids' sacrifices. Which yikes. Then comes the creepiest smile you've ever seen. The kind that makes you want to burn sage just for standing near him. And at Incheon International Airport. And boom, rolling up to the scene is an entire squad of meathead bodyguards, all built like they were spawned from a protein shake. Yeah, these guys aren't here for the aesthetics, they look like they could bench press a truck. Right behind them, a walking parade of trouble fresh off their US comeback tour. Leading the chaos, Eugene the green-haired chaos gremlin, Jun Hyuk the white-haired I'm chill but I'll end you type, and Soo-ho basically a human tank. Already waiting for them are Hyun Da-hoon and Chang Soo, arms crossed, giving big we've been expecting you energy. Jun Hyuk yells, who the hell threw this cringe-fist of a welcome party? Doon tells him to calm his hair down, it's been a while. Meanwhile, Soo-ho and Chang Soo swap small talk like they didn't almost kill each other last time. And the rest start mingling too. Then Hyun shoots Eugene a smirk, asking about Soo-hyun and Soo-young. Eugene says Soo-young hopped a flight to Japan to clear her head, translation, avoiding drama. As for Soo-hyun, Eugene just winks and tells them to figure it out themselves. Jun Hyuk can't help wondering if Soo-young had 2 years to cool off what's left now. He even feels bad for Seong, who's basically a hostage in all this. But the banter keeps rolling, with Jun Hyuk asking Chang Soo if he tracked down that address. Chang Soo brags it was a walk in the park. Jun Hyuk pats him on the shoulder like good dog. But Chang Soo smells a setup and asks what he's plotting. That's when Jun Hyuk's whole face morphs. A sinister grin spreading as he says he's about to personally serve the clown who's been screwing them over. Meanwhile, Aunt Hunjin rings up Seong, asking again if he's going back to school. Spoiler, he's still a hard no. She reminds him he can't just live like a hermit forever, and offers him a place with her instead. She thinks moving to the States could give him a fresh start where nobody knows him. But Seong cuts in he's terrified of the outside world. That hits her like a punch, and she instantly apologizes for pushing him. He reassures her he knows she's just worried sick. Then he ends the call, silently promising to take care of himself. In his head though, his battle plan's already loaded. And it doesn't include mercy for any of them. Outside, a man in black shows up on site. Checking the area, no one's entered or left the rooftop. He reports they've already tried sending in a delivery guy, mailman, even a meter reader, still nothing on the targets. Orders come through, and meanwhile Chang Soo hears about some total shut-in. Jun Hyuk's losing his patience, screaming about how hard it is to get one damn picture of the freak. Chang Soo says Seong doesn't even step outside, no school, no sunlight, nothing. Jun Hyuk's about ready to break something. He's convinced the guy is hiding some freaky secrets. Chang Soo suggests breaking in, dragging him out, beating the life out of him, then hand-delivering him to the crew. Jun Hyuk finds that hilarious, but says they'll wait and refine the plan so it meets Soo-hyun standards. Then he drops some hot gossip. Soo-hyun got a personal invite from the Yakuza in Japan. That freezes Chang Soo mid-thought. Turns out Soo-jun's smooth-talking friend managed to connect with some top-tier Yakuza parents. And now Soo-hyun's decided it's time to give loser boy Seong a very special gift. The crew's throwing a reunion bash for their big return. Eugene winks at the camera and everyone catches on. Back at home, Seong's eyes are glued to a picture, and his blood pressure spikes just looking at this lineup of scum. The longer he stares, the more his rage starts to boil over. Eugene's caption under the pic honors Soo-young and Soo-hyun, who still haven't come back yet, saying they'll reunite the whole crew soon. Scrolling further, Jang Crystal replies that they'll be joining up in no time. Seong's seen enough. He knows damn well they're not the only ones who have been waiting. Meanwhile, the locals are buzzing about Soo Hyun and Soo Young finally coming back from the States after years away. At Narita International Airport, the welcome committee's ready. One lady's straight up shocked they were told it'd be another year or two, but nope, here they are smug as hell proving her wrong. She's totally impressed, figuring Soo Yeon's dad must already be flexing those presidential perks. Either way, she respects the insane grind these two just survived. Next thing you know, they're smoothly chauffeured toward a waiting limo. Meanwhile, the other pair is ready to talk about a mountain of stuff on the way. Turns out Liu Hyun is actually the son of Lee Joy-yang, the big boss of Shinjin Corporation, while Jang Soo-jang happens to be the daughter of Jang Seung-chu, the freshly crowned 21st president. Inside the limo, the group chills while talking about the stuff that actually matters. Breaking the silence, the muscle-bound guy already knows the vibe, and like Soo-yeon, he's not into wasting time. He finds that energy relatable and thinks they should just cut to the chase. That bluntness catches everyone a little off guard, which is why the sassy one jumps in to give a quick rundown of the current situation, smirking as she reveals that Ryohei had everything prepped since the moment he heard they'd be landing in Japan. Soo Hyun is honestly thankful for all of this, but Muscle Tank says the honor's theirs. He never thought he'd bump into someone like Soo Young. After all, it's not every day you meet the Korean president's daughter while studying overseas. Soo Jun wastes no time thanking Ryohei for pulling this whole thing off, making sure he knows she'll never forget what he's done. With a sly grin, he says that's exactly what friends are for. Then he adds a little spice. His dad, head of the Samo Syndicate, personally put in some serious effort to back them up. Let that sink in. Anyway, Soo Young asks if everything's ready so they can leave first thing tomorrow. That whole leave together bit completely throws the other two off. Ryo casually says they should just hang out, enjoy the city, and head back whenever, catching them totally off guard. The horror on Soo Jun and Soo Hyun's faces cracks the Yakuza duo up, but Soo Jun quickly demands Ryohei explain what's really going on. Meanwhile, Soo Hyun's eye twitches, guy's clearly holding in his nerves. Ryohei finally breaks the silence, casually mentioning that their men were on a business trip in Busausen. Over morning coffee, Ryohei tells Soo Jang to call them as soon as they land in Korea to arrange a meeting. He explains their people figured they'd handle the last part themselves, so they might as well finish the job personally. Soo Hyun stays chill as always while Soo Jun bursts out laughing, realizing Ryohei's serious talk was just him messing with them. Then out of nowhere, Soo Hyun gets a text that instantly ticks him off and sends his temper flaring. Soo Jun notices and asks what's up. He just hands her the phone. The second she reads it, she lets out a scream, completely rattled. Apparently, Jun Huk texted saying he's done waiting and is going to mess with their new toy because being patient got boring. So right before midnight, two lovely little lunatics are speeding over to rough up some dropout middle schooler. Meanwhile, they're mocking how the local folks already have lights out at 11:55 like they're living in a retirement village. Parking out front, Macho Freak decides to handle this solo, because two grown men beating up one kid is just pathetic. He hops out, tells Baldy to keep watch, and storms off ready to rough the kid up before dragging him out. He's fuming about getting stuck with all the dirty work. He picks the lock and kicks open the rooftop door, his mind spinning with thoughts, like why there's no window, until he remembers there's a ceiling window in the pictures. But the place is oddly open and pitch dark. Down below, Baldy's wondering what's taking so long. He checks his watch, getting more annoyed with every passing second Macho Freak spends turning the kid into a punching bag. Thinking this is just a waste of time, he storms inside with a whole attitude and reaches the rooftop. The door's already open, and Baldy can't believe how flashy this guy is being for a kidnapper, who announces their crime to the whole block. Without hesitation, he peeks inside to see what's taking so long. That's when a massive hand comes out of nowhere, grabs Baldy's face and smashes him hard enough to freeze him in place. Suddenly, Seong yanks the guy inside like a personal ragdoll begging for a beating. One heartbeat later, the rooftop detonates in a series of thunderous bangs. Yeah, no doubt that racket woke up every poor bastard in the neighborhood. Fast forward to the next day, traffic cops roll up to check this sketchy, unattended car parked right out front of Seong's place. Turns out it's not even registered, so they're ready to tow it. But the officer already knows the clowns who dumped it here barely ever show up, and when they do, they'll probably pretend it's not theirs. Hell, good luck even tracking down the so-called driver of that junk heap. Even the cops are side-eyeing this whole building like it's the final boss stage. The junior officer, completely gobsmacked, man looks like he just got hit with a plot twist he didn't see coming. Apparently their squad-'s been told to keep tabs here, though not constantly. Then bam. Chang-soo gets a rapid-fire text saying someone needs to urgently spill the tea on the guy working for Jun Hyuk. Not long after, Chang-soo shows up at Jun Hyuk's place. They're both legit stressing now. It's already 11:00 and the henchmen are still MIA. Chang-soo scrolls his phone, but yep, still zero updates. Jun Hyuk snaps, roasting him for not calling them himself. That jab instantly pisses off Chang Su, pressure hitting him like a damn freight train. Right on cue, the phone goes off like an alarm from hell. And Chang's uncle answers. He's actually hyped to hear from his nephew, curious if his boys nailed the job. That's Cho Jong-chan, big boss of Mirror Credit Bureau. Chang Su drops the bomb that he hasn't heard back for days, throwing the old man off his rhythm. Now Jong-chan's gears start turning. What the hell are those lowlifes doing? Chang Su blows his lid, asking if his uncle sent a bunch of noob amateurs to handle this gig. That insult lands hard. Jong-chan's fuming in respect. Yeah, clearly not a thing in this family. Still, he swears he's going to get to the bottom of it. But Chang Su, not satisfied, goes for the kill, mocking that Uncle Chang Hyun from Aegis would have picked a way better crew. That's it, head boiled over. Jong-chan only tolerates Chang Su because he's the boss's brat, and frankly, the kid's not bringing anything useful to the table. Grinding his teeth, the old man's seething, demanding the location of those screw-ups, somewhere in Seong's apartment. Jong-chan's lackeys are getting turned into human meat patties. Their phones vibrating non-stop, faces smashed so bad, you'd think they volunteered as practice dummies for the psycho living here. That's when Seong steps out of the shadows like the damn final boss. Meanwhile, over at Incheon International Airport, Soo-young and Soo-hyun finally land back in Korea. They're about to rush out of the terminal when Nam Ho-young from the Secret Service suddenly blocks Soo-jun. Out of nowhere, Soo-hyun practically jumps out of her skin. Standing there is Mr. Yang in flesh and bones. Mr. Yang calmly says he's here on Dad's orders to escort him back. Meanwhile, Ho-young snatches Soo-jun away like it's a hostage extraction. Across town, Jong-chan's barking over the phone at one of his crew leaders, furious that the mission's gone to hell and demanding those two morons get dragged in for punishment. No excuses. That leader, Yum Dong-guk, head of Team Z at Mirror Credit Bureau, he's already dug around and nobody's heard a damn thing from them. While tracking their trail, Dong-guk ends up at Seong's building. First thing he sees, their unregistered car sitting there with a parking violation ticket. He's honestly shocked at how brain-dead they must be. And just to make it worse, the car got towed this morning. Now he's wondering where the hell they could have wandered off to. Like a raging cannonball, Jong-chan storms into Yang Dong's office, ready to unleash hell over this botched job. The chain-smoking weirdo inside notices the human cannonball incoming, but takes a second to register. Yep, that's the boss mid-tantrum. Eyes wide, Joe about to hit the damn floor. Trying not to get vaporized, he admits their leader ordered everyone to regroup at Seong's apartment. That news lands like a steel bat to the skull. After a bit, Dong-suk finally calls his boss to give him the lowdown on what's going down. Jong-chan detonates instantly, veins about to pop, demanding what the hell Dong-guk's been doing this whole time. Dong-suk owns up, he's got a massive problem on his hands. When pressed, he admits their two men have straight up vanished. No traces, no breadcrumbs, nothing. That little bombshell actually cools Yang-chan down for a second, making him shift focus and wonder what the hell is happening here. Dong-suk explains there's something seriously messed up about Seong's apartment and says he's already rallied the crew to dig deeper. After a pause, Jong-chan gives the green light, operations a go, time to move in. Dong steps forward, taking roll call like some evil high school teacher. Making sure every thug is in position, they exchange a silent nod, game time. Seconds later, they're all bunched up at Seong's building entrance, charging inside to finally confront whatever's hiding in there. The stairwell is wall-to-wall men in black, with their boss in white puffing a cigarette like he's too cool for gravity. He takes one perfect drag, then gives the signal to unleash hell. Without hesitation, a lackey smashes the door open and bolts inside, while the rest pour up the stairs toward the rooftop apartment, ready to take back what's theirs. Dong's thinking, yeah, this many guys will definitely handle it. So he just chills, savoring his smoke, until the noise upstairs kicks off hard. That's when he decides to stroll up for a front row seat. Each step brings a chorus of heavy bangs echoing from above. Then suddenly, dead silence, the kind you get right before the sky drops on you. Dong-guk starts thinking this was all an overblown panic, right until his lackey gets launched into a wall like a ragdoll. The poor bastard's skull, yeah, crushed like a soda can. Watching that impact, Dong's eyes nearly rocket out of his skull. He's trembling so hard he can barely breathe, trying to gulp down the fear. Spoiler, it's not working. His brain's lagging, trying to process when bam, a giant stomps down in front of him. Dong's shaking like a chihuahua in a snowstorm. Even the doorway looks too small for Seong's size, and his monstrous presence wipes Dong's mind blank. He stumbles back immediately, losing all balance. Heart pounding, he yells, demanding to know who the hell Seong even is. But just looking at him fries Dong-suk's circuits. He can only scream for help, knowing damn well it won't save him. Seong clenches his fist and drives it straight into Dong's face, slamming him to the floor like a sack of bricks. Meanwhile, the cops get a call. Somebody's reporting blood-curdling screams and a horde of thugs storming into an apartment. The nosy hag on the third floor swears she saw it all and hasn't slept since. As the police get ready to move in, they wonder why nobody called while the screaming was still happening, but hey, a tip's a tip. Better late than never. They climb up and find the rooftop door wide open. The lock busted clean off, yeah, bad vibes all around. They get straight to it, knocking and announcing themselves. But the moment they step inside, their brains just blue screen. Because right there is a literal mountain of unconscious bodies, and in front of them stands a muscle-bound monster. Without thinking, they point their guns, but their hands are shaking like crazy. Outside, chaos erupts, cops flooding Seong's building from every direction. Paramedics sprint upstairs with empty stretchers and come back down with stretchers loaded with mangled thugs. And Jong Chan, the guy got his entire squad annihilated. Now he's staring down the reality of looking like a total failure in front of his precious nephew. Jong Chan slides down the car window, desperately scanning for answers like he's about to find them lying on the sidewalk. Then his gaze locks on the horror show, dozens of bodies mangled beyond recognition. His eyes just about rocket out of his skull. Sweat pours down his face. He's never witnessed a massacre like this in his life. Meanwhile, cops are holding Seong in place, demanding his resident registration number. The guy stares blankly, has no clue what that even is. The officer basically says, "Buddy, repeating myself won't help." Taking a deep breath, Seong steels himself and fires off the truth in one go. He says he's turning 18 this year, which is why he doesn't have that registration number. The cop's face twists like he just read the weirdest plot twist ever. Then Seong drops his full name, Tak Seong. Says he bilayed out of Naon Kwang Middle School back in 7th grade. But why he dropped out? Yeah, that's a can of worms he's not opening right now. He bites his lip, hiding the sting behind his eyes. The questioning officer is thrown for a loop, while another runs off to tell the boss. Turns out this kid is Tak Seong. That cop's already suggesting they pull back, because going to the chief with news that an 18-year-old just demolished an entire squad, yeah, not fun. And the kicker, this kid is nearly 2 meters tall and goes by Tak Seong. The chief just sighs, saying even if he had stabbed them or snapped bones, he's still legally a minor, and it all happened inside his own home. Reporting officer can't believe this dude's just walking free because of a technicality. The chief spells it out for the slow ones. If things go sideways, the press is gonna have a field day. He cuts the call, looking like he's just swallowed a bug, surrounded by a crime scene that's basically a crimson mural. Without another word, he orders them to pull out. No cleanup, no follow-up, they're done here. Which leaves Seong standing in the middle of it all, completely baffled. After the chaos, he dials Aunt Hunan, finally agreeing to her offer to live in the States. That puts a grin on his face, and she's beaming on the other end. She suggests looping in his uncle to arrange things, but Seong shuts it down fast, no need. Instead, he talks about taking a year-long trip first. Says he wants to explore the country while he's still young. Heading abroad's risky business for a minor like him. Hunan reminds him about his education, worried that this gap year is gonna mess it up even more. He needs to get back to school. That thought alone grates on him. He grips his sword tight. Feeling like he's been caged for too long, he needs air. Only then can he figure out what's next. He decides the house will be empty for a while and tells her not to expect much contact. She still hopes they can keep in touch, but Seong's mind is already set time for a break. Meanwhile, Jun Hyuk is chewing out Chang Soo over the phone, demanding why the hell it's taking this long. It's been 2 days with 0 updates. Chang Soo says he tried calling his men, nobody's answering. Jun Hyuk spits out a sarcastic thanks for making him face Soo Yun's smug grin again. Then he goes full middle school drama, yelling that Chang Soo still can't follow orders, just like back in the day. That burns Chang Soo, so he chucks his phone aside. Right then, Soo Ho calls in, saying Soo Hyun wants photos of Seong's location. Chang Soo briefs Soo Hyun and the others about Seong's rooftop hideout, but still has no actual photos. Soo Hyun orders Soo Ho to send the intel to Ryo, his crew in Korea. No slip-ups this time. He's not reliving the nightmare of the last 2 years. Then Soo Yan brings up Jun Hyuk's weird line about playing with their new toy and demands an explanation. Chang Soo's clueless, denies knowing anything. Meanwhile, Soo Ho promises they'll have the target bagged within the hour. Soo Hyun answers with a smile that could frost over hell. Soon after, a fresh squad of men in black, this time actual professionals, prepares to bring Seong down. The hunt begins. Operation N Seong kicks off, led by Baldy and his beast of a partner. Everything's locked and loaded. The whole squad charges the rooftop building, busting the door open without hesitation. Baldy and his partner strut in like they're crashing a runway show for action movie extras. Baldy warns Kenta to keep his guard up. Doesn't matter that their target is under 18. Especially when the walls are still soaked in thug blood like it's a horror movie set. They crack their knuckles like it's fight night, both mentally betting on who's walking out alive. And as usual, Baldy's itching to go first, ready to kick this mess off. But Kenta just gives him a quick pat on the shoulder, basically warning him about the creepy murder aura leaking from that blood-stained door. For the first time, Kenta actually opens his mouth, just to say there's a beast inside. Baldy freezes, shocked that Kenta's being overly cautious without even laying eyes on the thing yet. In Baldy's head, the beast is probably just a pissed-off guard dog that likes chewing people into confetti. Yet it's weirdly dead silent down here. Kenta's convinced that whatever's in there is big, so fine, Baldy decides to trust him for now and play this one smart. Then our crime duo strikes their opening pose, totally ready to make this a cinematic showdown. But before Baldy can do his bad Bruce Lee impression and bust the door down, Seong flips his Hulk switch. He straight up shoves the door in Baldy's face and smashes it against the wall like he's squashing a bug the size of a couch. Watching this, Kenta's teeth grind. Yep, he's getting pissed. This whole scene is really grinding his gears now. He locks eyes with Seong, this tank of a man, and charges in like King Kong going for a home run, fist aimed right at Seong's skull. That punch full send, maximum force. But Seong doesn't even blink. That's when Kenta realizes, oh shit, this isn't a human he's fighting. Without a second thought, Seong counters with a bone-cracking swing, practically teaching Kenta's face the definition of structural collapse. The dude drops straight to the floor, face flattening like a pancake under a steamroller. Baldy finally snaps out of his daze, only to see Kenta wrecked and Seong radiating your next energy, and yeah, he's terrified. Over with Soo Hyun's crew, she's grilling Takashi on why he ditched his fighters and let them run solo. Takashi explains there's no need to babysit these beasts, bragging that this is Japan's Samo Syndicate, Misery Division aka Elite Psycho Squad, so no worries. For now, Soo Hyun waits for updates. When Takashi's phone lights up, he answers, telling Baldy not to bother him unless it's urgent. But surprise, it's Seong, hyped about Japan being involved. Meanwhile, Seong's got Kenta pinned under his giant foot, chest crunching like stale chips. And Kenta's screams hit Takashi's ear hard. Takashi's spine goes cold as he hears Kenta begging for help. Then Seong's voice gets darker, demanding their location. Takashi hangs up without answering. He grabs Baldy by the collar, gives him 5 minutes to drive there, and the Chrome Dome has no choice but to floor it. In the blink of an eye, Seong rips the van's ceiling off like he's doing home renovations at lightning speed. He tosses Kenta's limp body inside, then jumps in himself, telling Baldy to keep that pedal glued down. Takashi, still rattled, hasn't told Soo Hyun's gang a damn thing yet. Finally, he tells the kids to pack up and get moving, calling the whole mission a bust and ordering them to safety. When they press for answers, he shuts them down, no answers until they're out of danger. This just pisses Soo Hyun off more, since these clowns can't even catch one punk kid, and now this guy's acting like their life coach. Then a sudden screech from an approaching car makes Takashi tense up, and just like that it's confirmed he's already here. Baldy's behind the wheel, barely holding the jalopy together. Tires screeching so loud it's like the car's auditioning for a horror soundtrack. Random bystanders just stand there, jaws hanging, watching this bucket of bolts zoom past with a hot girl inside. Obviously it has to be a movie shoot, right? Then the muscle-bound nightmare himself steps out, swagger cranked to max, laser-focused on turning his enemies into street stains. The crowd, snapping pics like he's about to star in the next viral superhero trailer. He casually asks Baldy which floor, and Baldy squeaks out 8th. Seong tells him to lead the way, and you can see Baldy trembling, realizing this horror flick isn't done with him yet. With that giant sword in hand, the crowd's convinced this is 100% a film set, maybe Captain Otaku, the live-action disaster. But then boom, the car's back end collapses, revealing Kenta's mangled face like some sick, modern art installation by Seong. Instant mood shift. A cold wave hits the crowd before the whole street erupts in screaming chaos. Those terrified screams climb up the building and straight into Soo Hyun's spine. Things are officially going to hell and Soo Hyun's nerves spike. He's wondering why there's panic outside, but Takashi distracts him, listing 3 safe stairways like this is a damn hotel tour. In a panic, Soo-jun asks Soo Hyun which route to take. That's enough to get Soo Hyun's survival brain working overtime. He doesn't know who is after them, but he's dead sure that monster is either waiting downstairs or already storming a stairwell. So he tells the group they need to split up, dropping a bomb that shocks everyone. Chang-soo argues they should stick together. More bodies equals better odds, right? But Soo Hyun calls him out. If they split, anyone who makes it out alive can call the cops faster. Chang-soo kinda sees the logic, but also wonders who's about to get the worst luck award tonight. Then Soo-young straight up lunges at Soo Hyun, grabbing his arms and insisting she's not leaving his side. Without wasting another second, Soo Hyun orders Soo-ho to take the back stairs, while Chang-soo gets sent down a different path. Takashi's assigned to stick with Soo Hyun's group, as they all bolt for their routes. Nobody knows which one is the shortcut to heaven. Chang-Su clenches his jaw, pissed that life keeps handing him the short end of the stick. Meanwhile, Xiang the raging beast has already picked his stairway straight toward the big bosses. Chang-Su's basically mid-heart attack, wondering why they didn't all just stay together. Still gritting his teeth, he bolts down the stairs at top speed, until something creepy freezes him mid-step. Elsewhere, Su Hyun and Su Young are tailing Takashi, with Su Hyun holding a gun while carrying Takashi. They make it out the exit in one piece, but a shadow flickers, making them hesitate, until bam, two police officers aim their guns right at them. They exhale in relief, realizing they just dodged a death flag. Back with Chang-Su, he blanks out completely, staring at Xiang's sheer size and presence like he's seeing a kaiju in human skin. Xiang calls his name, snapping him awake. Chang-Su's still dazed, but one look at Xiang makes his eyes go wide. He has no clue who this guy is, but every nerve in his body says danger. Then a horrific noise erupts behind him, and Chang-Su turns to look, only to see Baldy's wrecked, bloody face. A shiver like death itself runs down his spine. Xiang cuts through the tension, asking if they should start. He knows this guy doesn't remember him, but he promises Chang-Su will never forget him again. Outside, helicopters and cop cars swarm in, sealing every possible exit. Through a loudspeaker they shout, having no idea who's actually inside causing all this chaos. All they want is to figure out what the hell Xiang's real plan is. But instead of addressing the cops, Xiang calls out directly to Chang-Su. Chang-Su freezes. He has no idea how this walking muscle factory even knows his name. Then the tank drops it, he's Xiang. And just like that, Chang-Su's soul leaves his body. His jaws on the floor, eyes wide, brain buffering like bad Wi-Fi. Looking him over, he's thinking, nah, Xiang didn't look like this beefed-up nightmare. But the moment he hears that name, the flashbacks hit, right back to the times he booted the kid in the stomach. Yeah, those kicks, about to earn him a one-way ticket to Fatal Payback City. His face screams, I've just seen a ghost, and it's Jack. Down below, the lead officer tells his team to dig into this Xiang guy's background. He orders them to call up the hospitalized students to see if the name rings any bells. Meanwhile, Chang-Su's still standing there like nope, didn't see this plot twist coming. Last time he saw Xiang, the guy was a scrawny punching bag. Now he looks like the final boss in a steroid commercial, and it's freaking him out. Xiang cuts through the tension and speaks up. He drops a gut punch of a reveal. His parents, Tak Chongsung and Go Yun Jin, burned themselves alive in front of the Guang woman 3 years ago. The second those words leave his lips, the entire crowd outside freezes. Mouths open, eyes widen, everyone's remembering that tragedy in vivid detail. The press loses their minds. This is pure headline gold. Even the cop on the loudspeaker is just silent. Xiang lowers his sword until the blade grazes Chang-Su's neck. The guy flinches, seconds away from a public pants-wetting. Tears start flowing as he tries to speak, but all that comes out are pathetic sobs. Turns out even a tiny cut from that sword was enough to turn him into a blubbering mess. Then Xiang shifts his blade into an altar, ready to serve justice, execution style. That's enough to break Chang-Su's spirit completely. He's crying for mommy and daddy now. The sight makes Xiang sick. He spits venom, saying his parents turned themselves into charcoal just for attention. Without hesitation, he vows right there and then that every person responsible for their deaths will pay with their life. His rage spikes off the charts, pushing him into full-blown berserker mode. A few minutes later, the whole thing's live on every screen in the country. Breaking news. Hostage crisis at Samsung Station, police negotiating with the suspect. Then the media drops the kicker. The captor is the son of the couple who burned themselves alive 3 years ago, just a middle schooler back then. Nobody can wrap their heads around it. That monstrous body, no way it belongs to a teenager unless he's some kind of imposter. The lead officer orders a deep dive into Xiang's ID, birthplace, and every scrap of history. But deep down, the cop's gut says this is going to get ugly. Among the hostages is the son of Chairman Kim Sang-pil, the big boss of Aegis Security, the nation's top security firm, the one that even guards the president. The dirty truth, Aegis Security is basically a nationwide crime syndicate, and Chairman Kim's son was one of the punks who beat up that middle schooler 3 years ago. If this guy is Xiang, they're screwed. Time is running out and the lead cop asks what Xiang wants. But Xiang is done with small talk. The cop pushes again, trying to figure out his demands. Xiang says there's nothing they can give him. He's only here to make an announcement. The tension in the air spikes. Everyone's locked in on what's coming next. Without hesitation, he calls out a hit list. Liu Haiyan, Jiang Suyong, Kim Jun Hyak, Kim Yoo-jin, Liu Ho, Yung Da-hun, Nam Hyun, and finally Kim Chang-su. He declares that every one of them and their parents are marked for death by his hands. The country's top players watch the livestream stunned, and Xiang's revenge list, oh, it's not done. He plans to take out their siblings too. Now the crowd below is collectively shitting bricks. He dares them to send in the army, SWAT, whoever. but says it won't matter. Every single one of them is already dead in his book. If they failed to capture him or worse, cross his path, he'll kill them on sight. Chang-Su finally finds his voice, and in a desperate flex, threatens that if his father hears all this, Seong-s destined to live out the rest of his life like a cockroach. Seong gives a tiny shiver, and Chang-Su's first thought, yep, still the same pathetic loser. But then Seong whips around so fast it scares the soul right out of him. No small talk, no warm-up, Seong straight up calls it a war. One clean swing of his blade later, Chang's head is off, bouncing on the ground like a basketball nobody wanted to catch. The crowd down below watches in pure panic. Yet no one can even move a muscle. Seong drives his sword into the dirt, standing there like a walking death flag. Loser, yeah, not anymore. Meanwhile, the chairman of Egypt's security and his crew are shaking with pure rage, still trying to process the insanity they just witnessed. Watching the livestream on their tablet, they see their son die in seconds. The chairman slams the screen shut, swearing he'll make Seong regret ever touching his kid. Tears streaming, the broken father drowns in grief, clutching at the reality that his only son is gone. Not far away, the 21st president witnesses this nightmare unfold. His face goes eerily calm, but his head is storming with heavy thoughts. Wasting zero time, he calls the commissioner. A few rings later, the commissioner picks up, only to realize it's none other than Lee Sunbok himself. The president immediately demands why Lee hasn't already given the green light to erase this guy. Even the lead cop, seeing Seong's insane presence, knows he wouldn't stand a chance unless he turned him into a personal punching bag first. So he drops the formalities and gives the kill order. Messages start flooding in, telling him to take full control and handle what's coming. 3 snipers are already in position, sights locked. The execution is officially in motion. But before the last 3 shots can happen, the lead cop starts moving to get ahead of it. Right on cue, special forces storm the place, cranking the chaos dial to max. The lead cop did not plan for these guys to join the party. They surround the area in record speed, armored up and ready. And honestly, that's starting to get on the cop's nerves. Meanwhile, Seong just stares down at these crawling roaches on the ground. He's about to roast the police out loud, when a sniper bullet blasts toward his skull. The crowd freezes, air gets sucked out of the scene, one perfect shot, target neutralized, or so they think. Wondering if the hit landed, the sniper zooms in for a double check, only to see Seong glaring back like the Grim Reaper himself, and deflecting the bullet mid-air with his sword. The radio blows up. Sniper 1 completely botched the kill. Now the lady cop feels the crushing pressure from upstairs to finish this no matter what. She snaps, barking at her team to light Seong up. Bullets rain down, but Seong hops rooftops like he's out for a casual jog. Their jaws drop to the pavement. What on earth are they even dealing with? With all eyes on him, even the elite special forces are just lost for words. Cutting through the air, this human wrecking ball makes perfect use of his blade, leveling buildings. One after another, he pushes forward, securing his spot and mapping his next move. Barefoot and slamming the ground like he owns it, the guy's making enough noise to wake the dead. The cops rush in, cutting off any chance for him to make a fast getaway. Dispatch calls it in, and suddenly every patrol car in the city is gunning to tail him. A car comes screaming toward him through the chaos, and Seong doesn't even blink. He flat out declares that anyone dumb enough to get between him and his revenge is just bonus body count. As the car barrels closer, Seong lets out a blood-curdling scream that would make horror movie villains proud. He smashes it with a brutal hit, throwing the driver so far off track they might as well be playing Mario Kart blindfolded. Hands gripping the sword like it's his birthright, he rubs it free, timing his swing perfectly to slam that car into another one, making a perfect metal sandwich collision. The impact triggers a massive explosion that stuns everyone watching. But the real shock, Seong just walks through the fire like it's a warm summer breeze, skin untouched. That kind of menace in his aura is enough to make even hard-boiled killers shiver. And the lead cop, his eyes nearly pop out watching Seong casually strut through flames like he's modeling for some apocalyptic fashion show. The guy's brain is melting trying to figure out if Seong is even human. He's so rattled that fear has him clenching his jaw, completely lost on how to fight this walking nightmare. So he calls in the special forces, praying they can somehow fix this mess. Orders fly fast, but Seong could not care less, right as another wave of bullets rains down. He leaps into the air and vanishes like a ghost in under 2 seconds. That alone sends the lead cop's crew into panic mode. They've got no clue where he went. Then a cold chill crawls up their spines. He's behind them. Special forces now have him locked in their sights, guns raised, ready to fire. The lead cop signals for snipers to take the shot. He spares Sniper 1 and tells Sniper 2 to light this guy up. Sniper 2 scans, locks in on the perfect spot, ready to punch a hole through this muscle monster, and calls it a day. The shot goes off, packing enough force to turn a normal skull into a red mist. But Seong, yeah, he's not normal. The bullet is inches from taking his eye out. But his reflexes are inhuman. He sidesteps and blocks it with his sword in one smooth move. He's unbothered while the lead cop loses his mind, yelling at his men to restrain this King Kong wannabe by any means necessary. They level their guns, doing their damned best to put him down, but today's not their lucky day. Standing tall like a boss fight they can't win. Seong yanks his sword, and the special forces unleash a wall of bullets. The second the gunfire starts, the muscle freak swings once, and one flashy strike sends a shockwave ripping through the air, tossing soldiers like ragdolls. Dozens slam into the ground head first, while every grisly second is caught live on camera. Even the reporters freeze, horrified at the power they're witnessing. Honestly, not one of these guys could even scratch him. The cameraman's hands are shaking like he's playing a horror VR game, but he still keeps filming. One man, one massive sword, wrecking the scene like it's his private playground. Chaos spikes and the press start running for their lives, dropping gear in the process. The camera is smashed in half, but somehow the feed keeps rolling for the whole world to see. And somewhere far away, Soo Hyun is sitting comfy at home, probably shitting himself watching this live. Next to him, Soo Young-s bundled up in a blanket, shivering like someone just cranked the AC to Antarctic mode. Her head's a horror movie marathon, replaying Seong's blood-soaked promise of revenge on repeat. And Soo Hyun, his brain stuck on the fact that Seong's gunning for them over killing his parents and siblings. Yeah, plot S about to get spicy. After leaving a war zone behind, this dude has Kaiwung Man in a chokehold, demanding intel on what he told the hostage taker. No patience left. The sergeant screams for him to spill it already. But the second Kungman faces Seong solo, his survival instincts just straight up blue screen. With no fight left, he blurts out the truth. Seong was asking where the kids who escaped the building ran off to. Brutal as it sounds, he even drops the hospital's name without flinching. That's all it takes for Sarge to sock him right in the face, knocking him clean out. He quickly relays the info to the hostage taker, switching target to Shinjin University Hospital and ordering everyone to mobilize there immediately. Meanwhile, Soo Hyun and Soo Young are basically sitting around waiting for the Grim Reaper. Up above, Seong's already scoping out the hospital from the rooftop, primed for payback. On the news, anchors are losing their minds, reporting that the insane hostage taker just ghosted the scene. Oh, and by ghosted, they mean chopped off Kim Chang-soo's head and waltzed past the entire police blockade, location now unknown. Soo Hyun's sweating bullets, jaw clenched in pure terror and rage. Soo Yun's gone full scaredy cat mode, confidence out the window. Suddenly someone barges in, scaring Soo Yun so bad he yells at the intruder, calling her out. Then 3 more guys roll in, claiming their secret service here to babysit and protect. A couple head toward Soo Young, while one offers to personally guard Soo Hyun. Wasting no time, they start escorting these spoiled VIP kids out of Shinjin University Hospital, taking every precaution. Meanwhile, on another rooftop, Seong's watching the whole operation like a hawk. Then out of nowhere, this beast decides to step off into open air. Either he's fearless or straight up suicidal. Inside the hospital, Sergeant's warnings blare in the Secret Service team's ears. Bladman throws a hand signal, and the lady nods back while Soo Yun's practically about to faint, but they're completely unaware. The muscle freak has already locked onto them. With a glass-shattering crash, he jumps in, catching everyone off guard, and smashes through like a wrecking ball fueled by pure vengeance. Nobody saw it coming. In one insane leap, he's right at the window they're passing. Panic floods the room, his murderous intent is radiating like a heat wave. Stepping through the hole, this skyscraper of a man scares them senseless. No one briefed them on just how terrifying he looks up close. His ripped physique alone has them frozen, amplifying their fear. He scans the area, sizing up the chaos and his prey. Then his eyes lock on Soo Hyun, who instantly flinches. But his bodyguard yanks him out of harm's way. Time for Plan B. She drags the kids toward the far elevator. But Seong's not about to let that slide. He roars that his parents never ran, so why should they? Those haunting memories of his past come flooding back, everything he and his parents endured. That pain fuels a fresh wave of rage, remembering how his parents defied everything for him. He lets out a scream so loud it yanks Lee Soo-yun's attention instantly. It's enough to freeze her up before she snaps at the slowpokes to just shoot him already. As they go for their guns, Seong lands a skull-rattling punch right to their faces. Even armed, they can't do a damn thing to stop themselves from tasting Seong's raw, bone-crushing power. Seong sends Baldwin flying off the ceiling like he just slammed a sixer in the NBA Finals. He starts ripping through anything in his way, and now everyone in the room finally gets just how bad this is. Guns snap up toward Seong, and without a second of hesitation, they unleash a full barrage on the beast. While bullets are flying, the evac team is crammed in the elevator, desperately waiting for the world's slowest lift. Then some poor bastard tries sliding along the wall to reach them. but one look at his busted, bone-showing face is enough to give anyone nightmare fuel for years. He makes one last desperate move, but Seong's attack ends whatever hope he had left. Seong lunges for the elevator, but the doors slam shut right in his face. Soo-yun's losing it, tearing into his team for not calling a damn helicopter instead of taking the scenic route down. A loud bang from above says it all, the Grim Reaper's hitching a ride, and he's about to crack the elevator open. Inside, the trio and a big-ass guy are trapped in this moving coffin, just waiting for the end. Up top, Seong's lining up his blade, ready to carve a man-sized hole in the roof. The lady barks at everyone to get down and fast. Then the muscle freak drives his sword straight through the roof without so much as a hello. She quickly lays out the plan, bolt the second those doors open. By the time they hit the third floor, Soo-yun's already sweating bricks at how close death feels. At the second floor, Seong's patience is gone. He starts a stabbing spree like some deranged serial elevator killer. By some miracle, the trio dodges every single strike, at least until the first floor. The second the doors slide open, Soo-yun bolts out like a scared cat, finally able to breathe. The Secret Service lady follows right behind. But Seong's blade catches Soo-young's guard in the shoulder. Seeing the horror unfold, Soo-young breaks free in panic and jumps out of the elevator. The man in black staggers to his feet like a zombie running on fumes, only for the elevator's ceiling to collapse straight onto his skull, squashing him like a bug. It's like the rubble just decided to delete him from existence. The lady grabs Soo-young, while Soo-yun, gritting his teeth, watches the muscle monster step out of the lift with his own eyes. His panic level just broke the damn meter, and Seong's standing there asking why they're in such a rush. Before anyone can answer, a jeep barrels in and totally hijacks their little reunion. The vehicle screeches to a stop right next to them, slamming into Seong. But his triceps are basically steel beams. This tiny jeep isn't moving him an inch. He barely reacts before another car makes a flashy entrance. Mr. Yang hops out in style, instantly clocking the kids' terrified faces. Soo-yun can't believe the old man actually made it here. Yang wastes no time shouting for them to get inside. But through the smoke, Seong spots the getaway and Soo-hyun's stomach drops. He's wondering if this is the last chapter of his life. Yang and Seong lock eyes, both sizing each other up like two apex predators. Yang orders the others to run while he keeps Seong busy. There's no debating it, this is their only shot. Even when they protest, he shuts them down and tells them to move. The jeep peels off into the night, leaving Yang alone with the monster. Now it's just Mr. Yang and Seong's unfinished business. Seong's got no clue what just happened, but he plans to wrap this up fast so he can get back to his revenge tour. He turns to go after the jeep, but Yang pops off a couple of gunshots to get his attention. Seong turns back, glaring like the old man just wasted his time and his mercy. Yang breaks the silence, admitting he has no idea what kind of freak he's dealing with. But if Seong wants those kids, he's gotta go through him first. Gun out, Yang's ready to throw down. Seong doesn't waste a single breath, he charges straight at him. Yang's caught completely off guard, he never saw it coming. Looks like his hero moment's about to end. Seong slams him in the face with enough force to make the ground jealous. The hit lands like a freight train, shattering bones and launching Mr. Yang into the air like he's auditioning for a wire fu movie. And just like that, the man who was talking big a second ago is now officially out of the fight. With the old man down, Seong cracks his neck, eyes blazing, fully locked back on his real targets. Then boom, he rockets forward with a burst of pure rage, erasing the gap between him and the fleeing crew. Sword in hand, this muscle monster launches himself toward the kids like the final boss cutscene just started. His glare is all fury, storming down on them like they're already marked for deletion. The trio scrambles, but yeah, survival odds are not looking great. Still, despite that monstrous leap, he gets lost in the crowd of identical jeeps like it's a parking lot nightmare. So he takes a wild guess and slams down, and yep, wrong jeep, big guy. Meanwhile, the lady and Soo-hyun are watching from their ride, both feeling their spines turn to ice. She twitches with nerves, realizing things have gotten way too far past the point of manageable. Then she hears the driver say they're near the rendezvous point, and that's all the excuse she needs to demand he stop him, whatever it takes. And by whatever, she literally means anything goes. So yeah, grenade launcher time, no moral hesitation detected. Without missing a beat, the driver blasts a round straight at Seong. Sadly, this guy's not the type to be taken down by a single boomstick. Still, it buys them a window to floor it. Soo-hyun glances back with a spark of hope, thinking maybe, just maybe, they pulled it off. But nope, Seong used that explosion as a springboard, ditching the car and moving in for round 2. He slams into the front of their ride, making everyone inside see their lives flash before their eyes. Soo-young's scream could probably shatter glass at this point. Seong tears into the jeep's roof like it's a tin can, leaning in with the expression of a predator ready to eat. Sword raised, he's clearly about to serve the sacrifice special. Yeah, that's them, his chosen prey about to get diced. but the lady barks at the driver to slam the brakes now. The sudden jolt throws Seong off balance, and he goes flying backward like a javelin. Midair, he digs his sword into the ground to stop his landing, glaring at them like they just personally insulted his workout routine. That's when he notices a squad of special forces waiting up ahead on the bridge. They toss smoke grenades his way, catching him off guard. But he bursts out of the haze in seconds like it's just bad cologne. And then, because why not, he does a full Spider-Man crawl upside down on the bridge. His death glare is now laser-focused on the squad, ruining his fun. They respond by unleashing a rain of bullets. But Seong weaves through them, tossing soldiers aside like they're training dummies. He warns the survivors to run if they value breathing, making it crystal clear that crossing him equals instant death. One stubborn soldier tells him to shove it. Meanwhile, helicopters arrive overhead, and the lady hustles Soo Young and Soo Hyun toward safety. Seong bulldozes his way after them, demolishing anything in the path. He spots the kids boarding the chopper, and locks eyes with Soo Hyun mid-escape. For a split second, it looks like he's about to throw his sword, but he pulls back at the last moment. Turns out he's got a different plan for these two. He vows to let them stew in terror until the day he finally comes to collect.